Hello good people of YouTube and welcome to my hobby channel. In this video I'm doing an unboxing of the Wargames Atlantic Partisans French Resistance. I will be looking at some scale comparisons with other miniatures from a similar period, and also taking a look at what other games that you might be able to use these miniatures with if you're happy to do a little bit of kit bashing. So if I'm honest, World War II isn't really my area of expertise. When it comes to historical war games, I've always gravitated towards Napoleonics, particularly the Battle of Waterloo and Napoleon's time in Egypt. So although I have a few miniatures for Conflict 47, a smattering of World War weird stuff, and several boxes of Warlord World War II plastics, with the hope that I might one day get to play a small game of bolt action or something. I haven't really done a lot of modelling, and certainly no gaming in the World War II era. Now this box here, Partisans by Wargames Atlantic, or Partisans I, French Resistance, opens up a number of possibilities for me. I quite like the idea of putting together a small band of resistance fighters, whether I use them as French resistance or perhaps Scandinavians fighting in Norway. I don't know. Those are the two scenarios that really interest me, but the real reason why I bought this box of Partisans is because I want to kit bash them with gunfighters. That's these gunfighters from Great Escape Games. I have noticed there's one or two, like this figure here, maybe that figure there and that one there. There's three figures there that might actually work. But the other thing I want to do is turn some of these resistance fighters into more gangsters for flat caps and truncheons. Now, when I bought this box, there were pieces rattling in the bottom, and I already know, because I have opened it, that there is a tendency for the heads to pop off the sprues at the slightest touch. So be careful. If you do get one of these, make sure when you open it, you're opening it somewhere where you can catch the heads as they drop off unexpectedly. It's already caught me out. Now, I think there are three heads that dropped off when I first looked at these. If I've lost one, it certainly looks... Oh, there we are. Right, so there are the three heads that fell off. So, and a stack of sprues to make 32 miniatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I think this is an intact sprue. As far as I can tell, these sprues are all the same, so I've got 8 identical sprues in that box. And obviously it's the variety of heads, the weapons and the way that you paint them that make them look different. So what that actually means in terms of what I'm after is that there are 3 bodies on every sprue that are potentially suitable for a dead man's hand, as gangs of cowboys or citizens or whatever. This one I'm not sure about until I explore how to paint him, because he looks like he's wearing some kind of anorak or flying jacket type of thing. So if we look at him there, you can see that he's got this short coat. This one on the other side, in the box art, is painted up as either a brown leather jacket or a green military coat. So obviously if it's painted green, it looks very World War II. If it's painted as a leather jacket, it looks like it could be interwar years. And then we've got this one here that's open, and again I've seen that painted up as a leather jacket, denim trousers, white shirt. That might probably work for what I want. And finally that one, which again, although it's quite short, the way I've seen that painted, I think would work. I think if you combine that one with a head that's got a flat cap or a bowler hat on, that would also work. So let's move to the heads, and there's quite a selection. Pretty much all of them, I think, would work with Dead Man's Hand, and except maybe that one there, which is some sort of military forage cap. There's another one there, isn't there? Yeah, there's 2 forage caps, so okay, start again. So there's 14 heads here, 12 of which would work with Dead Man's Hand. In terms of flat caps and truncheons, again, I think they're all pretty good. There's a very like Harrison Ford looking one there. I mean, that is definitely going to make an Indiana Jones. There's actually a flat cap there, which is very in keeping with the Peaky Blinders look of flat caps and truncheons. That one in particular. There are some other berets and hats that you could probably paint up and would look cool. Lots of heads with no hats, and again a lot of potential there for kit bashing, which is why I got this set. And then if we look at the weapons, obviously a lot of them are far too modern for Dead Man's Hand, but 1 or 2 of them may be okay to fit in with flat caps and truncheons. So there are a variety of pistols, machine guns, submachine guns, that kind of thing, revolvers, but as I said, they all look quite modern. There might even be a semi-automatic pistol there, perhaps. As I said, I'm not particularly up to speed on any of this at the moment. There's a knife there, I've noticed, and some ammo pouches and gun holsters. So, and there's a scarf there as well, which might work in Dead Man's Hand, just to throw in a bit of variety. So 8 of these sprues to give you 32 figures, and I'm looking to use maybe 2 sprues to create an extra flat caps and truncheons gang and sprinkle in amongst my gunfighters to add a bit of variety. I will be doing that in a separate video. I'm going to build a couple of resistance fighters now very quickly, and just do some scale comparisons with some of the other plastic miniatures from Warlord and Great Escape Games. Okay, so I'm going to try and make an Indiana Jones, and I think I decided on this guy at the end here. Need this arm here, and all the other arms that I can see on the sprue seem to be the holding hand grenades or weapons, except this pointing arm here. So I'm going to have to go with that for this build, and the Indiana head had already fallen off, so I'm going to take that. Also going to build one, this one here, I think, for a potential flat caps and truncheons gang member. I think I'm going to go with that one there. This arm here that's kind of up in the air. Right, there we go. And I'm going to pick the head on the end that is very flat cap. There we go. And again, the usual, as you'll have seen in previous videos of mine, so I'm not going to labour the point. Remove the detachment scars. I'm going to do this on everything. I use a blunt scalpel blade to trim these off. There's the head, and that's pretty clean. These models have half a neck on the body, so that will affect what other miniatures they're compatible with, but it's a good fit. Yeah, so there he is. It would be nice to give him a bullwhip or something, but I'm just wondering how to position that. That's quite nice. Rather than pointing up, I'm going to have it slightly down. A little bit of glue on this side, and this gun can go up in the air. Indiana Jones from a Wargames Atlantic Partisan French Resistance box. That's pretty cool. So I will paint him in a separate video. So I'm now going to quickly, that didn't take too long, so I'll quickly build my flat caps and Truncheons Partisan. So same again, clean off the detachment scars, and the head's okay. So same again, glue on the neck, which goes in under the jaw, like so. That does make angling and positioning the heads more difficult, but there's plenty of variety, so won't really be an issue. Now what I intend to do, as I said with these, is there's 32 miniatures in the box, so I would probably take 24 to make some kind of resistance unit for my future World War II and World WWII or Conflict 47 games, and then the other 6 now that I've built these 2 figures will be used for flat caps and truncheons, and to mix with some Dead Man's Hand as well, hopefully Kitbash, and I'll be doing that in a separate video. That's kind of like a shy hello, which I'm going to run with. Just trying to get that arm exactly as I want it, because it's the difference between the miniature telling a story and just looking wrong. Glue these onto a 25mm round base. There. So I'm just filming this in case I decide to use it, but I'll put a little drop of super glue there on this Imperial Guard. I think he comes with a Bane blade, this chap. This is an old model that I've just dug out of my bits box that I intend to restore. But what I want now is just to put a tiny bead of, this is Milliput with green stuff, 50-50 mix. And I just want to drop it in that super glue there. That's probably more than I need. Just going to snip a little off there with those clippers. And now I've got a Partisans French Resistance head. Again, there's no neck on these heads, which is why I've just done that with the green stuff. And I'm just trying to position this to get me a different miniature. Now I'm going to come in with a sculpting tool and just clean up round there. But I just maybe try that bit there. Just need to tidy up around the back of the neck there. That's it. Hopefully you saw that. But there we go. So there is a quick conversion of an old plastic that I need to restore. And I think you can see there that skull. Citadel have since brought out some much better skulls. So I will be taking that off and swapping it and restoring this guy in a separate video. That arm's a bit thing as well. Anyway, that's just a quick head swap there to restore that. So I just wanted to finish with the usual lineup that I do. So the 2 dark grey plastic miniatures are the Partisans French Resistance from Wargames Atlantic. So to the left of the first one, is a Dead Man's Hand gunfighter, and that's one of the male gunfighters. And then we've got the Partisan, which I've put together as a Peaky Blinders style miniature for flat caps and truncheons. Next to that, there's a Warlord Games plastic bolt action German. I think that's a late war German. It's a box I've had for a while. I glued a couple of the miniatures together and then didn't do anything else with them, so that's in there to show scale. And then we've got the Indiana Jones style Partisan that I've just built in this video. And to the right of him, that's a Foundry WWII German. That's a metal miniature. And again, that just shows you scale-wise that all of those are a pretty good fit. Now I've got the Games Workshop Imperial Guard. I think this might be a Bane Blade Commander. I've probably done some converting on that. It's an old figure that I need to renovate, as I've said before. And this has a head from one of the Partisans, just to make that look a little bit different. And this metal figure on the end is a Westwind miniature. Now, I think it's Weird War 2 or 3 or something, I don't know. So I'll just move him out of the way, bring him over to there. And okay, he's on a standard sort of Warhammer style round base, which maybe puts him a mil higher than the Partisans. But I think that's a pretty good fit as well. You may not want them in the same squad, but if they were fighting each other on the gaming table, I think that looks pretty cool. The other thing I wanted to look at just very quickly was how these scale up to some of the other sci-fi miniatures on the market. And I've got lots of unfinished projects on the go at the moment. Now, this is a Wargames Atlantic Death Fields. Can't remember which particular blend or brand of miniature that is, but I bought these guys because I once had the Steel Legion in 40k and sold those and regretted it and tried to build a plastic alternative. So I've got hundreds of these, half finished, half painted, that I've done nothing with. Scale wise, again, I think if you're looking to make some sort of civilians or partisans for a sci-fi game, then these work really well. Yeah, just very quickly, this is an old hammer, a Citadel Judge, I can't remember which one it is, Judge Anderson or something, and that is from the 1980s when Citadel had the license for Judge Dredd. Now I know Warlord have it now, I think, so the miniatures will be different, scales may be different, but if you've got any old hammer sci-fi miniatures, some Rogue Trader 40k, whatever, I think, again, scale-wise, that's pretty good. Valhallan Imperial Guard here and here. This one I converted with a Tamiya tin helmet. That might be 1/32 scale. It could be 1/48. I can't remember. I did that conversion a long time ago. And again, this is part of an Imperial Guard project that got sort of abandoned, that I will be resurrecting, even if I only use these guys in Necromunda as some sort of renegade band of guardsmen or whatever. Just wanted to take a quick look at some vehicles as well in comparison to some of these Partisans. So this is a Conflict 47 German sort of Panzer Walker. It's been a long time since I looked at these, and I know Conflict 47 seems to have faded away a little, and it's coming back to a brand new fanfare with Warlord Games again. I had some of these from years ago when I was writing my modelling and painting sci-fi miniatures book. You can certainly imagine them running up between the legs of one of these things and planting a sticky bomb before running away again. So I think that looks pretty cool. Can't remember if these were Black Tree designs, German half tracks. But these are some models that, again, I converted. They were white metal vehicles that I had to assemble, and I converted these for my sci-fi modelling and painting book. And I kind of gave them a Nurgle sort of bloat and contamination look, lots of rusty, gnarly bits, horns and things. with a view that I would one day get to use them in some sort of sci-fi game, and maybe that'll happen. And to wrap up the sci-fi theme, here I have a fantasy orc that I converted for Necromunda, painted him up as a flesh orc. Not the best pose for taking a video, but I hope again you can see how the Wargames Atlantic Partisans hold up quite nicely against some of the GW miniatures. A bit of an eclectic mix, I know, and one that does push the envelope when it comes to the intended use of these figures perhaps, but I hope this video has given you some ideas. If you've enjoyed the video, please smash that like button, please subscribe for more videos like this. Please also feel free to leave a comment, but keep those comments kind and respectful. Thanks ever so much for watching, enjoy the hobby, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.